Hunt Showdown is finally out after quite a long time on early access and a number of changes, including taking this kind of cooperative monster hunt and making it more of a battle royale style. And while that may seem like I'm damning it with faint praise, what we have here is surprisingly an interesting take on the genre that I think comes the closest to something that I enjoyed as a battle royale game, and that may shock some of you watching this. But the story is that we are hunters in the 19th century, and I believe we're in the Louisiana swamps, and it's up to us to fight off evil, gain power, and try not to die in the process. Now, the maps themselves, I believe, are hard-coded or handmade right now. And the game itself puts you with either solo or up to 2 additional players in a group to fight off the monsters as well as other players. Now, at this time, I don't know how many people actually spawn in a map. I know it's definitely less than like the 50 or 100 we see from other Battle Royale style games. So, the general objective is that you have a contract hunt, as the name implies, to go for. This is in the form of a monster-sized boss. As you explore the map, you'll get various clue points, and that's when you see the screen kind of go black and I put my hands up to find them. When you go and find those clues, they're going to narrow down where the monster is, and the other players are doing the same thing. Once you've found 3 clues, the game will just flat out tell you this is where the boss is. You have to go there, kill the monster, banish him, and then you'll gain tokens. And the monster will always drop 2 tokens. Obviously, one for you and one for your partner. However, all the other players are going to be gunning for you and for your reward. In order to quote-unquote win, you need to escape the map. And when you escape, you'll take any items you found or that you've gotten from opposing enemies, as well as your bounty token. And this is used as a way of giving you a form of progression and the major elements of persistence in the game that we're going to come back to later on in this video. Now, one thing that I really liked about Hunt Showdown is that there's a greater sense of intimacy in this game compared to other battle royales. While there are long-range weapons, and we have certainly been sniped a few times, the focus or the majority of the weapons are usually fought at close to mid-range. Because you're dealing with older style guns, you're not going to be worrying about automatic assault rifles or 360 no-scoping here. And once your gun runs out of ammo, it's typically better to switch to either a secondary gun or just go straight into melee. Now, if you look at the bottom of the screen there, you'll notice those red bars. Those represent my health, as well as kind of like my overall health segments. When a segment is completely drained, you will have to use a healing item or spend in-game currency to bring it back. Any health pips or any of those health bars that are lost during a match will remain persistent with that character once you've hit profile level 10. And again, there's a lot to unpack about the game's persistence system that we'll come back to. Now, when you first start playing the game, dying just simply gives you an experience debt or experience penalty, and then you just get right back to playing. Now, as you explore the map, another major part about Hunt Showdown that kind of differentiates it from other Battle Royale style games is that there are NPC enemies on the field. And the enemies themselves are all monster based, and the game has a really great, I think, aesthetic design for them. You'll fight common zombies as well as larger style enemies, and they can show up or be alerted while you're trying to fight the other human players. And the bosses also kind of are like the larger class. I wouldn't say they're up there like with like the Monster Hunter of like those kinds of creatures, but they do require a lot of strategy or at least a lot of teamwork or really big guns to take them down. And it does lend to this kind of be friendly until you aren't kind of atmosphere with the game. And once the boss has been taken out, then basically everything goes to hell as people are trying to figure out, okay, who's getting what and who's going to betray who. And this leads to some very tense gameplay once you've gotten yourself a token, and then you have to get off the map while people are hunting you down now. And Hunt Showdown is very much a game that's kind of built on a slow burn. Even if you are playing by yourself, due to the large maps and the very much fact that combat is of the slow variety, you're not going to be as excitable or as fast paced as you would be in other Battle Royale games. And to me, I really like that feel with Hunt Showdown. When things do pop off, like here when we fought 2 people and actually held our own, the game gets very exhilarating. And then the escape also adds to it. And like I said, all this is really great so far, but it's time to talk about the persistence. And this is where I feel that the game is going to kind of make or break for a lot of people. But first, a quick shout out to our current Game Wisdom Patreon supporters and sponsors. And now for a quick thank you to our current Game Wisdom sponsors and Patreon supporters. And if you'd like to continue the discussion on game design, be sure to check out our Discord channel, linked down below. A major part of Hunt Showdown is the persistence that carries over between matches, and like I said in the last part, this is what I feel is going to either keep you invested or drive you away from this game. But let's see if we can go over this somewhat quickly. There's 2 forms of leveling up. You have your individual hunters, and then you have your bloodline, aka your profile level. If you look on the screen right here, you can see my character is leveling up. That's the Hans Macmillan point. And then you see my profile below that. When characters level up, they'll gain access to essentially perk points. And you attach perks to your character to give them unique abilities or give them basically increased passives, such as faster aiming, more stamina, you get the picture. Now, the perks that you can access are based on your profile or account level. And your account level practically dictates all the major unlocks that you'll be able to attach to your characters. aka when you get a high enough profile level, you can put really good perks on and kind of give them a better chance at survival. If you look at the top of the screen, you'll see 2 currencies. The number on the left is kind of like your basic currency, while the one on the right is the quote-unquote premium. Now, here's where things get very interesting. When you have a new hunter, they come randomly basically assigned to various stats, how much health they have, etc., etc. And they'll also come with different gear. Now you can buy gear, as you can see on this page here, and all the guns have various different modifiers to them. So you can buy a normal rifle, you could buy the scope rifle version, you could buy the silent version of that. And that's all dependent on using that type of gun to get experience with it. And if you haven't guessed by now, there is a pretty noticeable difference between somebody who's played Hunt Showdown for quite a bit and somebody starting out in terms of what options and tactics they have available. And this takes us to the big point. There is permadeath in this game. How it works is, as you can see in the upper left, I'm at rank 3 at this point in this video. Once you hit rank 10, permadeath becomes active. And what that means is, if one of your hunters runs out of health on the field, they are gone, as well as any gear that they came with or you bought for them. Now, your bloodline or your profile level remains persistent. And once you hit full level, you can prestige, and I don't remember what that actually gives you. But this is where things get very nasty, because if you have a really good run going and somebody gets a lucky hit or a snipe, there goes all your weapons, there goes everything that you bought for that character, which means you'll have to spend more in-game currency to get it back, or of course buy the premium currency for additional rewards and features. And this right here may be a bridge too far. Just imagine playing a game like Fortnite or Apex Legends where you could lose everything when you die. And this is again one of those cases where the haves have a huge major advantage over the have-nots. As you get access to fancier guns, more tactics, the people who stick around with Hunt Showdown are going to be able to survive a lot longer just due to having better versions or better classes of weapons. For somebody new joining, that can be a very harsh pill to swallow when somebody just kills you because they have better perks and such. Now, in the last part, I mentioned that I like the intimacy of Hunt Showdown, but I don't like how there's still sniper class weapons in this game. And during one of our plays, both myself and Mojo got headshotted by somebody just in the bushes from somewhere that we never knew or we never heard from. And again, I think sniping class weapons is a big mistake in this game because it takes it a little too far into the same kind of snipe-tastic play we see in other Battle Royale games. And if they stay with the intimacy of close to mid-range, I think that would make things a lot more interesting and may make things easier to swallow when you are killed, especially once you get permadeath put on. But with that said, we're going to begin to wrap things up here. There's a lot that I like about this game, and I hope we see more evolutions, whether it's in the form of more enemy types, more maps, more persistence, you name it. And I think Crytek has something special there. But the fact that there is this heavy form of monetization on top of permadeath, on top of the fact that this is a retail purchase, I believe the game is $40 to buy, I think it's going to severely limit its audience compared to, again, the big names of the genre. And I hope that we do see more of it, because I like this idea of a more intimate take on the Battle Royale genre, more so than just having long-range combat and the sheer craziness of weapons and things to deal with during play. Once you are on the map of Hunt Showdown, like I said, things slow down. And I think that gives it a far different touch, and I think will attract a different audience compared to the high-stakes play of something like Fortnite, Battle Royale, and so on and so forth. But for the people who've played this game, I'm really curious to hear what your thoughts are on it. And if you have played this into the late game or long game with higher level characters, how do things stay or change in terms of how a match plays out? I would like to thank the developers for giving me a press key to check this one out. And like I said, if people are interested in playing this, I would not be opposed to doing this for another multiplayer night, which, considering this is a Battle Royale, is a huge, mark or high mark for it. But thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to come back for daily discussions on game design here and on Game Wisdom, where we examine the art and science of games. Until next time, this has once again been Hunt Showdown, and I will see you all later. If you're looking for a book on design, my first title, 20 Essential Games to Study, is out now. It is available where most books are sold, and it comes in paper, hardcover, or digital copies. This is the perfect book for anyone interested in learning about game design, whether you are a student, enthusiast, or just a fan. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed things, be sure to do all the liking and subscribing that the kids are doing these days. Check out our Discord channel link down below where we hang out and chat game design, and come back later tonight for our regular streamings. But that's it, and tune in for more great content here and on Game Wisdom, where we examine the art and science of games.